Buddha or Buddha Gautama, also known as Shakyamuni Buddha, was a great spiritual master from ancient India. Born as Prince Siddhartha Gautama in 5th century BCE, he would have naturally inherited the vast wealth of a kingdom. However, the prince one day left the palace life in search of spiritual knowledge. After years of contemplative seeking, the Buddha attained enlightenment under the Buddha tree. He then shared the merits of his practice by providing a method for other sentient beings to be freed from the cycle of death and rebirth. The rich treasury of Buddha's spiritual teachings on universal truths are studied and revered to this day for their deep wisdom and compassion. Today we would like to share with you the sage teachings of the Buddha. Excerpts of Chapter 5 of the Sutra of the Lotus of the Wonderful Dharma, also known as the Lotus Sutra.
The Sutra of the Lotus of the Wonderful Dharma, or Lotus Sutra. Chapter 5, the Parable of the Medicinal Herbs. At that time, the world-honored one said to Mahakashyapa and the other major disciples, "Excellent, excellent Kashyapa. You have given an excellent description of the true blessings of the Tathagata, or Buddha. It is just as you have said. The Tathagata, indeed, has immeasurable, boundless asamkhyas, or infinitudes of blessings. And though you and the others were to spend immeasurable millions of kalpas in the effort, one kalpa is a period of 432 million years of mortals, you could never finish describing them."
Kashyapa, you should understand this. The Tathagata is king of the doctrines. In what he preaches, there is nothing that is in vain. With regards to all the various doctrines, he employs wisdom as an expedient means in expounding them. Therefore, the doctrines that he expounds all extends to the point where there is comprehensive wisdom. The Tathagata observes and understands the end to which all doctrines tend, and he also understands the workings of the deepest minds of all living beings, penetrating them completely and without hindrance. And with regards to the doctrines, he is thoroughly enlightened, and he reveals to the living beings the totality of wisdom.
Kashyapa, it is like the plants and trees, thickets and groves, and the medicinal herbs, widely ranging in variety, each with its own name and hue, that grow in the hills and streams, the valleys and different soils of the 1,000,000,000-fold world. Dense clouds spread over them, covering the entire 1,000,000,000-fold world, and in one moment saturating it all. The moisture penetrates to all the plants, trees, thickets and groves, and medicinal herbs equally to their big roots, big stems, big limbs and big leaves. Each of the trees, big and small, depending on whether it is superior, middling or inferior in nature, receives its allotment. The rain falling from one blanket of clouds accords with each particular species and nature, causing it to sprout and mature, to blossom and bear fruit. Though all these plants and trees grow in the same earth and moistened by the same rain, each has its differences and particulars.
Kashyapa, you should understand that the Tathagata is like this. He appears in the world like a great cloud rising up. With a loud voice he penetrates to all the heavenly and human beings and the Asuras, supernatural beings, of the entire world, like a great cloud spreading over 1,000,000,000-fold lands. And in the midst of the great assembly he addresses these words, saying, "I am the Tathagata, worthy of offerings, of right and universal knowledge, perfect clarity and conduct, well gone, understanding the world, unexcelled worthy, trainer of people, teacher of heavenly and human beings, Buddha, world-honored one."
Those who have not yet crossed over I will cause to cross over. Those not yet freed I will free. Those not yet at rest I will put to rest. Those not yet in nirvana, or highest happiness, I will cause to attain nirvana. Of this existence and future existences I understand the true circumstances. I am one who knows all things, sees all things, understands the way, opens up the way, preaches the way. You heavenly and human beings, asuras or supernatural beings, and others, you must all come here so that I may let you hear the Dharma or true teaching.
At that time, living beings of countless thousands, 10,000s, millions of species come to the place where the Buddha is to listen to the Dharma, true teachings. The Tathagata then observes whether they are diligent in their efforts or lazy, and in accordance with each is capable of hearing, he preaches the Dharma, true teachings, for them in an immeasurable variety of ways so that all of them are delighted and are able to gain excellent benefits therefrom.
Once these living beings have heard the Dharma or true teaching, they will enjoy peace and security in their present existence and good circumstances in future existences, when they will receive joy through the way and again be able to hear the Dharma. And having heard the Dharma or true teaching, they will escape from obstacles and hindrances, and with regard to the various doctrines will be able to exercise their powers to the fullest, so that gradually they can enter into the way. It is like the rain falling from that great cloud upon all the plants and trees, thickets and groves, and medicinal herbs. Each, depending upon its species and nature, receives its full share of moistening and is enabled to sprout and grow.
The Dharma, true teaching, preached by the Tathagata Buddha is of one form, one flavour, namely the form of emancipation, the form of separation, the form of extinction, which in the end comes down to a wisdom embracing all species. When the living beings hear the law of the Tathagata, though they may embrace, read and recite it, and practice it as it dictates, they themselves do not realize or understand the blessings they are gaining thereby. Why is this? Because only the Tathagata understand the species, the form, the substance, the nature of these living beings. He knows what things they dwell on, what things they ponder, what things they practice. He knows what Dharma they dwell on, what Dharma they ponder, what Dharma they practice, through what Dharma they attain what Dharma.
Living beings exist in a variety of environments, but only the Tathagata sees the true circumstances and fully understands them without hindrance. It is like those plants and trees, thickets and groves, and medicinal herbs, which do not themselves know whether they are superior, middling, or inferior in nature, but the Tathagata knows that this is the Dharma of one form, one flavour, namely, the form of emancipation, the form of separation, the form of extinction, the form of ultimate nirvana, or highest happiness, of constant tranquility and emptiness. The Buddha understands all this, but because he can see the desires that are in the minds of living beings, he guides and protects them, and for this reason does not immediately preach to them the wisdom that embraces all species.
You and the others, Kashyapa, have done a very rare thing, for you can understand how the Tathagata preaches the Dharma in accordance with what is appropriate. You can have faith in it. You can accept it. Why do I say this? Because the fact that the Buddhas, the world-honoured ones, preach the Dharma in accordance with what is appropriate is hard to comprehend, hard to understand. At that time, the world-honoured one, wishing to state his meaning once more, spoke in verse form, saying,
The Dharma King, destroyer of being, when he appears in the world, accords with the desires of living beings, preaching the Dharma or true teaching in a variety of ways. The Tathagata, or Buddha, worthy of honour and reverence, is profound and far-reaching in wisdom. For long he remained silent regarding the essential, in no hurry to speak at once. If those who are wise hear of it, they can believe and understand it. But those without wisdom will have doubts and regrets, and for all time will remain in error. For this reason, Kashyapa, he adjusts to the person to gain a correct view. Kashyapa, you should understand that it is like a great cloud that rises up in the world and covers it all over.
precious viewers. Thank you for your presence for today's episode of Between Master and Disciples here on Supreme Master Television. Join us again next Wednesday for part 2 of Buddhism's sacred scripture, the Sutra of the Lotus of the Wonderful Dharma, Chapter 5. Planet Earth, our loving home, is up next after noteworthy news. Wishing you much light and kindness in every moment of your day.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/BMD.